Alright guys, I'd like to welcome you to the last small meeting. I'm here sitting in. I just wanted to kind of throw together a live. We're still playing in the studio and cameras and stuff, so we are working on increasing live capability at tournaments and stuff with some of the technology we're adding. So going with some smart AI type cameras that allow me to kind of control certain aspects of our profiles, as well as adding additional cameras to provide different angles. And you can see I can switch in between cameras and show just a little bit of behind the scenes here with the particular setups we got behind. So we want to, as we continue to improve what's happening in the Washington State Bass Federation, improve the technology to give more of a feel of a professional event. Obviously, it takes a lot of time, a lot of equipment, a lot of setup, things that we are adding into the mix. Like I said, I've got an entire broadcast suite back here that I can do many different things with, and I will probably, well, we can zoom back over to the left side camera here. And you can see I've got this monitor here, and I would love to be able to share this screen to you. The problem is when I do it, it takes it into double D mode or just multiplies it, so you can't get a good view. But if you notice, we got different aspects that, like right here, you can kind of see we've got, tabs, we got ticker tapes running down beside it. Now I can add to in controls here. I can change those ticker tapes out or the casting. As you can see, I replaced this with the Casting Chronicles now, Washington State Bass Federation. I can add and change the tickers at the bottom, right? So we can gather in more information, which is something nice that we can do. I can lay in and overlay different sponsors' logos, right? Gives us another way to create items for our sponsors when we're doing these lives to be able to promote their products and stuff. I can drop videos in, which I mean, some of you guys have seen. So you just seen there was a quick clip of the video that I casted up. So these are some of the things that we are working through, or I'm working through, to try to give a better. As you can see by hand motions, I can direct a camera on things to do on one side and stuff. The other one, both of them have follow me features, so we can highlight different anglers or different aspects of our events. So like I said, we're trying to get to a more professional format, and it's one of the things that like I said, I work on behind the scenes when I'm doing these lives. So now that I've kind of showed you guys some of what goes on behind the scenes and some of the aspects and things that we can add to our live streams, I want to talk about. I am going to start with the Washington State Bass Federation board meeting. We're going to hold a board meeting at the Bass Pro Shops in Tacoma on November 1st, 2025 at 2 p.m. Now, there is limited room in the conference room. We can probably seat about 30. If it gets too big, we do have an option to move it into the lobby there, either by the fish tank or down in the front there when you come in, so we can accommodate more people. I welcome anybody who wants to come out and join us. We'll probably have a little get together before and after as a group or an organization. I'd like to see the high school kids out there doing some fundraiser for the upcoming trips that they got to nationals to get their seasons off. So, and I will have that conversation with Dave to try to coordinate that. So During the board meeting, we will be um, electing the new board members or re-electing board members. So if you have interest in helping out the TBF and helping this organization grow and become larger and more organized, I mean, Tony did a great job bringing together a board, and you guys have seen dramatic change in the Washington State Bass Federation over the next few years, or the past few years. Those changes to improve it are our mindset to try to make it more friendly for the anglers of the state. Um, and you know, basically highlight a lot of what we are doing in Washington State Bass Federation. The high school programs have been a huge hit, so that's great and forthcoming. So if you got any interest in helping out, please reach out to me or Tony or Des or somebody. I mean, we still need somebody to operate as a tournament director would be a huge help, right? I'd be there to assist whoever was interested in it. Doesn't have to be somebody who's going to fish the events, but somebody that can help facilitate the weigh-ins and stuff. I'm hoping to elicit the help from high schoolers, especially on our first Washington State Bass Tournament on the weekend of April 4th. As we're doing a one day that will be in Sammamish. And on Sunday, the high schoolers will have a qualifier there. So we will be set up for their qualifying event as well. So hopefully they can help us out on Saturday, and I will definitely be there to assist them on Sunday with their event. We'll have the trailer and all our banners and everything will be set up full stage capabilities for both of those events. So that'll be starting out the qualifiers for Washington State Bass Federation, the ones that we host. Now, with that being said, we have two qualifiers that are coming up still this month. Um, they're both going to be held on October 25th. It's the Bob Mickelson and the Whatcom Opens. The Bob Mickelson being hosted by Puyallup Hog Hunters. And if you give me just a second as I navigate through my screens here, I can share this, and this is another great concept with being able to do these live streams because I'm able to put up different information. Like here's the flyer for the Bob Mickelson Open. With this event, team entry is $120 per team with a $20 option pot and a $20 big fish pot. Once again, being held October 5th, and that's being held at Lake Washington. Launching out of Gene Coulon Park in Renton, as it has been in past years. This is a long-standing event, so obviously something, that a lot of the guys will take advantage of. Morning registration will start at 5:30, last till 6:30. Drivers meeting at 6:30 sharp, blast off at 7, and weigh in at 3 p.m. In addition to the entry requirement, 2 unwrapped toys from the attached wish list, which I don't see the attached wish list, but I'm sure you can find that information. I know it is, for ages of kids, and whatnot. But they donate those to Pierce County Sheriff Santa's program, and that's a great way to give back to the community. Additionally, the Whatcom Open, that's also being held on October 25th. As I pull the information up on the Whatcom Open, registration starts at 6:30, blast off at 7:30, weigh in at 3. Entries 100 with a $20 big fish pot. Lakes go off limits on Sunday, October 19th at sundown. So basically, you can pre-fish it right up until Monday, or it comes off, and that's being hosted by Borderline bass and contenders. You can see my little cursor up there, um, my hand, so I can kind of point through certain things. I think that shows through. Those are two qualifiers coming up. They both lead into 2026, the semi-nationals and nationals. We got the Angler of the Year taking place again this year. So top team that has fished three events as a team, same boater, co-angler, TBF members, will automatically get a direct buy to the nationals. With many different qualifiers, east, west, central, you have opportunities to fish your home lakes or lakes that you're more comfortable to. Another reason why we have that format is to get members and more participation with the local clubs. I mean, these are long-standing opens. These things have been going on longer than I've been in Washington State. So, it helps to go support the local clubs that we're all familiar with in the state. Always a good idea. Um, so just getting that off to a start is something great. I'll switch back over now. I want to talk a little bit about the Casting Chronicles. Um, as many of you know, and some of you may still not know, we've started a monthly magazine. It's an e-magazine. You can get it directly by link. Comes to your email, especially if you sign up. You go to wabass.org, go to plans and pricing, sign up for the 0 free. That basically just lets us know you're interested, you want that. That link to the magazine will go out each and every month. I can, and I will show you guys what that kind of looks like. As you get it and you open it up. So this is what you'll see when you open up the link, Casting Chronicles. This is the October edition, and it's a flip book, right? So you can open it up, and it has different stories and things that have happened with Washington State anglers only. I'm concentrating on the Washington State anglers. One, for advertising dollars, so we put more into the tournaments and do more for the anglers here in the state. And two, to highlight, our anglers in the state. We tried and tried and tried to get media coverage for like the high school event when we gave away $200,000 for college scholarships. You would think some news agency would pick up on that, think that's a worthwhile story, but no, they just want the negative. So I wanted to bring out the positives of Washington State bass anglers. You'll see here where it kind of highlights blue. These are direct links to advertisement spots, right? There's many different stories that are filled with pictures, you know, about the event. Now, October's edition was primarily to highlight out the national semifinal, which was held at Boardman and hosted by Oregon. It does, and it will, each and every month, will have tips and techniques provided in part of the edition. Um, you know, Obviously, I went with finesse as these fish are starting to get more temperamental as we move closer to the winter patterns for this month. But I also did a story on Dad's connection with Washington State Bass Federation, what brought him here, the things he's done and accomplished while part of the national Washington State Bass Federation. And we owe Des a lot of things. Without Des stepping in years ago, Washington State Bass Federation could have disappeared. You can see, like I said, I got pictures. I have included pictures of the guys, their placements. All these are Washington State anglers only, or fish for Washington State Bass Federation. Anyway, that's part of what Casting Chronicles is about and the reasoning why. It's like I said, it's something to highlight the anglers of the state, and like I said, It also helps us for generating revenue and um, support for what we do here in Washington State Bass Federation. So just wanted to include that in things that are taking place. One of the um, things we are working on, when it comes to um, sponsorship, it's it's something that we work on, um, and each year to at least get discounts or donations into the system. So, and like I said, the TBF is member owned. Washington State Bass Federation is member owned, right? All the money generated by Washington State Bass Federation in some part goes back to the anglers, whether it's adding more highlight capabilities. None of us get paid when I'm writing these casting chronicles. That's all my time I donate to do these. There is no monetary gains for me or the Abassins. It's just something that I wanted to do. As like I said, you couldn't get news coverage to cover what I think are some of the great things going on in the state. So with that, we've been working with Lifetime Batteries. They gave us a short-term deal, and you can see if when I switch over, I'll switch over to another camera here. Behind me, yeah, if I can get the camera to retract back. Over here to my left above me, you can see that's a banner they provided. There's a bag right here. Some of the stuff they sent us over a bunch of swag we gave out. We gave away a lifetime lithium battery at the national semifinals. We were working with them and hopefully getting a long-term deal with them. It's important you guys like and share posts with Washington State Bass Federation and the other platforms. The better the metrics, the more interest we get from sponsors, and I'm sending out requests and information and sponsorships to a lot of areas we've left untouched. Local businesses, obviously, we want to highlight that fit needs of Washington State bass anglers. So just, there's a lot of work that goes in behind, and, I donate a lot of time to try to do and make better things that are occurring. And happening. So, and we plan on, trying to grow and get bigger and better as an organization. Our main intent is the anglers of the state of Washington. Plain and simple. That is my highlight. We've tried to do it in a way that doesn't interfere with the other organizations like Northwest Bass and um, the things that Lemon Out does, the ABA. I mean, my feeling has been strong and supportive of all the organizations in the state. I think anglers shouldn't have to be placed in a situation where they got to make a choice. Well, I want to fish the ABA, but TBF's here, and I want to fish that too, or Northwest Bass is here. So a lot of behind the scenes in trying to avoid each other has happened. And that's good for Washington State bass anglers. If you want to fish ABA, you should be able to fish TBF. TBF is giving you an option to fish. We got a large qualifying circuit, so maybe you got something scheduled. There are 12, 13 events throughout the years. You only have to fish 2 to qualify for national semifinals, 3 for the angler of the year. I mean, so you got a large platform to choose from. You don't have to go fish every event, which is nice. It opens up abilities to compete with Lemon Out and Northwest Bass and ABA, right? And the BAM. The BAM's the only one we haven't really been able to have conversations with about conflicts. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to avoid those. I think this year we look pretty good in their tournament platforms and we don't have any real crossovers. But I mean, it can happen, but that's one of the reasons why we structured the Washington State Bass Federation qualifiers so that there is options. So if there's a bass and a qualifier on the same day, if you or a BAM and a qualifier on the same day, you can fish the BAM because there's still going to be 10 or 11 more that you can go compete and to qualify in. Same with Northwest Bass and all the other ABA and whatnot, right? So it's once again, it's about the anglers. What I love for you guys to fish every qualifying and every event we got, why, absolutely. The more, the merrier. The more that's in, the more the sponsorship, the more the money that's out there. But at the same token, there's other good organizations out there, and as long as we keep that in the mindset that it's about the anglers, then we're going to have successful warm water fisheries, and we're we're making headway in that. Um, a lot of the increased licensing fees are coming directly back to the warm water fisheries, so there's going to be more money to fund out and help with conservation efforts and those on the warm water side. That's a thumbs up. That's a great thing. I know Alex Fulton at Washington State Bass Federation has reached out to me several times. Their AIS department's looking to bring out stuff to some of our tournaments to share information, some items that we can that they can give away as helpful reminders. Not planning on coming out to the events in enforcement, but as informational tools. I spoke with a guy that's ahead of motor safety. Hopefully, we can arrange that he may be out at the Jamboree this year, doing refreshers with motor safety and being a guest speaker there. Some of you guys may or may not know, but there was two boats got together at the national semifinals. Um, both of those boaters were from Oregon. I don't actually know the names of the individuals. I'm sure you can find out. It was luckily no injuries. It damaged two boats severely. Both of them had to drop out. So we need to keep boater safety in mind. I did put in October's edition, and by the way, anybody who wants a printed copy can get a printed copy. Um, they do come at a cost of $15. I know that's a little bit high, but that's what it costs us to print out small quantities. So it's not something I'm requesting or suggesting. It's just something that's available. If you are interested in a printed copy, I would suggest you wait till the end of the year. Each end of the year, I'm going to do a hardback version that's going to have all of the articles that were the in the Casting Chronicles in a hardback book version, right? So kind of like a yearbook of the happenings. That will be $90, right? And once again, that is basically what the printing costs are. So it's not something to make money off of, but hey, you might have had a featured story about you in the Casting Chronicles, or you was involved in the national semifinals, and you'd like to hold that, or the high schoolers, obviously. They've got some great memories that they want to carry with them. That's a great option, something you can put in your bookshelf and keep. So just something, I wanted to put out there as a reminder. Me and my club at Evergreen, we started talking about at our last meeting some of the things that we could kind of do as kind of community outreach. We have decided as a club that we were planning on getting involved in some of the Christmas parades. I think we'll probably target Puyallup lighted Christmas parades, put up fancy lights on our fancy glittery boats and our trucks and trailers and become a part of that parade. Maybe put a Santa on the back seat, I know they don't want us throwing candy out into the crowd, so maybe we do a large pole that we can reach candy bags out there to the kids or something. I don't know. You got to worry about safety concerns there, but so I mean, if anybody's interested in kind of joining us in some of these, Christmas parades, it's a good way to kind of get us out there, and have a little fun mingle with the clubs. Another thing that unfortunately we didn't think about this in time, but next year, um, October 31st, Halloween's on a Saturday. We're going to do something similar as a trunk or treat. We're going to go to Bass Pro Shop, fill our live wells with candies, give the kids a safe place to go trick or treat. There in the parking lot at Bass Pro Shop. You guys could organize that at any location your club reaches out. It's good to kind of just let people know that we're out here. We're community, involved in what we do. We're just not out there ripping up and down the lakes fishing. In January, we have a booth. It's already paid for and contracted at the Sportsman Show in Puyallup. That way we get out information about our high school programs, our clubs, things that are taking place that we are doing. Good place to outreach for, sponsorship there at Sportsman Club. Hoping on having some gear there that we can sell that's catered, because I know one of the big things is bass guys, there's not much there for us, and that's right. So, I know Brian Fraser has talked about sending out some of the edge rods that are custom rods that he does out there. I'm probably going to bring some lures and reels, some sunglasses, going to have some high schools for some fundraisers, selling out items. All the proceeds will be going directly back into Washington State Bass Federation funds and high school funds there to be pushed out into things that we do at the tournaments and things. So, I hope you guys come out and join us. Average attendance at the Sportsman Show annually is 120,000 through the Puyallup Show. So thought it was a good investment to get information out. So Bass Club presidents, obviously I'd like to get with you guys before that. I'm going to set up a looping video. We'll have our 60-inch monitor there. Sponsors, we'll have your sponsors ads flipping up on there as well. So I've got a lot of work to do to put that together. And I obviously would love any and all help I can get in putting that together. Bass Club presidents, bass clubs, it'd be nice to include everybody, east, west, north, south. I know a lot of you guys will, here on the west side, the east side guys may not see as much benefit from it as the west side clubs are. But, I was talking to guys from Idaho and Montana yesterday over at Bass Pro Shop. So there's a lot of eastern guys that migrate over here for one reason or another. And I was only up there at Bass Pro for just a few hours. But anyway, I just wanted to get on here to show you guys some of the stuff and talk about some of the stuff we're changing to some of the new platforms. I know I've got some new guys that popped up in here. You hadn't seen the multi-camera ability in the views. You haven't seen, if you look right here, you can see that's my studio monitoring so that I can, manipulate everything that's happening on the screens here. Once again, I just wanted to check in and want to remind everybody qualifying season has happened. Spokane Bass Club, they had a qualifier last weekend. I'm working on getting those points pushed up. I am still unable to see the state registry at the moment. Once I get that, I can sort through that for Angler of the Year points and everything else. October 25th, we got two qualifiers, one hosted by Borderline Bassing Contenders. That's the Whatcom Open. Everybody's aware of it. They do one in the fall, one in the spring. It'll be the last time you can fish Whatcom for this year. And then you got the Bob Mickelson Open that Puyallup Hog Hunters are hosting at Lake Washington, G. Coulon Park. And you guys are all familiar with that tournament as well. So both of those are qualifiers. Obviously, you can only fish one of the two unless you figure out how to clone yourself. But So that could come in some of the choices of which events you want to choose. It was just an unfortunate scheduling thing that both of them landed on the same day. But once again, it's not the end of the world. It's the reason why we have multiple different qualifiers. That as for qualifiers, Bass Club presidents, please contact me. I need to kind of get your schedule. I've updated what I could up on the website www. See, there it comes. It actually did a tilt down and kind of went to sleep. So, second I clicked over it, it jumped up. But like I said, we got the capabilities of doing some stuff. This camera will follow you. It has a follow feature, right? So, as you can see, if I make movements, it will come and cast over. Oh, why I left a clothes hanger on the banner behind me, but these type of cameras will be set up in at our scales and stuff, just to give an added dimension. And like I said, they work kind of cool because they work off a hand signal. So now I can get up and it doesn't follow me, but I can zoom in and out. I can I can get this dynamic zoom, what they call, right? And it's just like I said, it's just added stuff that we've added to features and coming up. One of the things I'm going to implement in tournaments this year is we will have video of the boats coming in and out, right? So if there is any question whether somebody's late or not, it will be time stamped in the video. We can go back to review. Just some added features that'll be happening at our events. So this year, as an added change to things, a new caveat, we're going to have one in July. It's going to be a 2-day event. It's our other Washington State Bass Federation qualifier that we put on. That one is going to be, like I said, a 2-day event, but to give it a little bit of a different complexity, day one is going to be on Banks Lake. Day two on Roosevelt. So you're going to have to put together 2 days on 2 different lakes. And it's going to make it a little interesting on how that one will shake out. So I thought it'd be a fun way to kind of end our qualifiers. And that'll be the last qualifier of the year. So at least it'll count towards 2026. Now, some of the bass clubs may have some qualifiers that will come up after that we can count towards 2027. But we wanted the Washington State Bass Federation tournament to really have meaning, and to do that, it needs to be the last event of the qualifying year. So, anyway, I don't know how I end up able to talk to you guys. This is a really odd, awkward scenario. Talking to a camera, talking to nobody, carrying on the conversation. Hopefully in the future, I'd like to add, and I can invite guests in. We can split screens. Maybe do some more like actual podcasts, which, might be fun and stuff. But anybody that's out there who's got interesting stories they want to share, fishing techniques, obviously reach out to me. I'd like to add those into the Casting Chronicles. I've started working on November edition. It, takes me a couple of weeks to write these editions out and put them together to get them up there. I hope people appreciate the work I'm doing on them. I am not a writer. I am not a publicist. I'm doing the best I can. And I hope that best is good enough. But hey, would love to get anybody's help. You got writing skills? Please reach out to me. I mean, I can make these magazines hundreds, 200 pages long if we've got the information and data. I'm not limited to pages, in each edition. So, hey, you guys want to have some fun and do something different? Like I said, reach out to me. You can find my information, my email information, my phone number on www.wabash.org. Go to the board members page. That's where we have the contact information for the board members and current board members. And once again, you guys have any interest in joining and helping out the board and the federation, feel free to reach out to me, Tony, Des, Dusty, Adam, Kim, Dan, anybody involved on the board page. Express your interest, what position you would, think you would be the best fit for. I mean, there is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. It's not just getting out there and fishing. That's what you guys get the opportunity to do. The work behind the scene is, I'm not going to say exhaustive. It's not. But we do a lot of work. And like I said, it's all by volunteer time. None of us benefit monetarily by anything we do. Um, so, and like I said, we do it because we feel that the anglers of the state deserve a great opportunity. And TBF being a member only owned group and is done for the members only. I mean, that's what we're about and what we're for, from the national all the way down to state to the club level. So anyway, guys, I am going to quit yakking. I just want to remind everybody that board meeting is going to be November 1st. It's in Tacoma. Time is 2 p.m. Oh, by the way, bring the family, bring the kiddos. Santa Claus rides at Bass Pro Shop that day. Get family photos with Santa Claus. They're free at Bass Pro Shop. It's not like at the mall and stuff where you got to pay to get those pictures. So, great opportunity. Get in there early. I'm going to assume, but I don't know for certain. I'm going to assume they'll start some or have some special sales that day going on. Those of you who don't show up live, I will be broadcasting this in a live feed and Zoom. I will post up Zoom links on Washington State Bass Federation page, so you can join in that way as well, and be a part of it, the meeting. And anyway, with all that being said, I sit here and burned up a whopping 38 minutes and 12 seconds and counting. And so now you guys know I can just ramble and talk on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and there I am, right? So guys, I hope you enjoy your Sunday, enjoy the future week. Get out there, open up Casting Chronicles, give it a read if you haven't. Look in your spam folders. It was emailed out to anybody who's had any connection with Washington State Bass Federation. It come in like a newsletter style. And side warning, I created a newsletter format using AI. And I know some of you have heard stories, those are made up stories. Well, I can honestly 100% tell you that AI will make up some real crap. So I directed it to read Casting Chronicles, create a newsletter surrounding Casting Chronicles. The next thing I know, we're doing conservation jobs on Lake Washington. We have donated huge numbers to conservation. None of that was true, right? AI just makes it look like it's something it's not. And then one of the anglers in our club made mention that he had used AI to create a cover letter for a job he was, and he mentioned his military service. And he said by the time AI had gotten done with it, he had single-handedly won the war in Afghanistan. So be careful on what you read and see on the internet, especially if it's created by AI, because I am now firsthand proof that if you put it through the AI platforms, you're coming up with a lot of stuff that is not true. And so I cut that newsletter down and edited every function of it, and took out all the lies and misrepresentation. And it went from like 8 pages in the newsletter down to, I think, 1 page, which is basically one little heading and a small little write up about Casting Chronicles. So AI is helpful in some situations, but you got to know that if it's AI generated, it doesn't mean it's true. And after I say that, I would say the majority of AI generated information is incorrect and bogus. But anyway, this is Paul being with you, Bassins. I'm signing off. And I hope everybody, once again, has a great work week and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Till later, it's Paul.